Welcome to Montrose Makerspace today for February 2nd, 2015. A lot of activity at the Makerspace today, not on my side, but from Ross. On Friday, I'm going to go to Albuquerque and give a product demonstration to a customer. And this is for the Solome project, which is an electronic load that tests solar panels. I went over there on Saturday, a couple days ago, and I was going to put everything together. I have a bunch of extruded aluminum from previous projects, and I have plastic enclosure boxes, and I was just kind of bolt together a bunch of stuff and take it down and show it in Albuquerque. So I was over at the Makerspace. I was talking to Bill and Ross about this demonstration I'm going to give on Friday, and they said, what's this for? And I said, well, I'm going to try to sell this thing in quantities of hundreds to this customer. And they said, well, you can't take down a bunch of extruded aluminum. You need to really show them what we can do here at the Makerspace. So Ross and Bill worked for a couple of days. They kind of kicked me out of there, and they said, go home and work on the firmware. So that's what I did. On Saturday, I worked on firmware, and the sun came out here, so I put a panel out. And you can watch some of the YouTube videos of me doing a 60 watt and 190 watt panel of the Solome electronic load. It runs a sweep. So I went back today to see how Ross was doing, and he was putting the finishing touches on my enclosure, and I want to show it to you. This thing is awesome. Take a look at this. This is it's an aluminum suitcase that's holding my circuit board and a bunch of heat sinks in the middle. It's got vent holes all the way around, because this thing might dissipate to up to 300 watts. Up on top, we have MC4 connectors to hook your panel on. This is a handle that Ross made on the mill and the bandsaw. He just picked out a piece of aluminum and cut that out. Then he took it and put it in the bead blaster and put a texture on it. This thing is, it's got a plexiglass window in there, and you can see the display inside and the activity light. He took these aluminum panels. Let's see if I can get this thing to focus. Great. Hold on. Is it going to go? There we go. So the covers on this thing, let me turn on our light here. Let's have some problems with the light. There we go. The covers on this, he ran these through the bead blaster. He put some feet on the back side so that these screws and rivets on the back wouldn't mar up your surface. I brought this home and I showed Melanie. She says, wow, that is really impressive. And I said, yeah, heck yeah, this is well beyond what I ever thought I would be able to take down. Very beefy. She said, it's kind of plain though. I said, well, we didn't have enough time to put a logo on there. And so Melanie and I talked a little bit about a logo. And she just whipped it out in her studio. So check this out. This is the Solome logo. It's a sun and an ohm made out of copper and brass. She cut that out with a saw in her studio and soldered it together, polished it up, and then she made some rivets on the back of this copper and drilled a couple holes in this aluminum and flattened out the rivets. So I'm going to show you what's inside of this thing. This thing has 10 screws holding a lid on. I just have 2 of them holding it on for now. So inside of here is a TI CC3200 launch pad. This is an ARM processor with a Wi-Fi radio built into it. And that's sitting back behind here. You can kind of see that there's a red circuit board. Well, maybe. Well, these are sandwich circuit boards. There's one back underneath this green one. This is the Solome board. It has a bunch of drive circuits for these MOSFETs, as well as voltage scaling for the A to D converters. And here's a display. This is an Adafruit display. It also has an SD card on the back here. Here's an IR pin so you can use your remote to control this thing through the lid. And there's 8 heat sinks riveted onto the back plane here. And I have 8 N-channel MOSFETs. This thing is powered off of LiPo battery. This is a one that you would use in a RC car. So it's a 3S LiPo battery that runs between 9 and about 14 volts. That enables this thing to work when the sun's not out. This also has a charge circuit in here, so the solar panel actually will charge this battery during the day, and then this thing will run for about 2.5 to 3 days if there's no sunlight. So I'm going to go down to Albuquerque and demonstrate the Solome project, and this is a fine example of what happens when a bunch of people get together that are really motivated on success. I've been working on this in the evenings after I get the makerspace done. This is my other thing I'm working on. Ross pretty much dropped everything to help me out to make this awesome enclosure. Just look at this baby. These are all machined. He machined these holes. He sheared off this aluminum sheet, drilled everything, put rivets in, the whole thing has been bead blasted, so it has this really nice texture to it. Put these feet on. I mean, how cool is this thing? I'll bring it home and show my wife, and she wants to add her unique feature, which is the logo. And now I have an awesome prototype to show my customer on Friday. This is Montrose Makerspace today for February 2nd, 2015. Let's go!